Do you want any of the pumpkin maples?
Surrounded by lattes, cakes, and other treats, public health might not be the first thing you think about when you walk into Cupcake Royale.
Have you had our tiramisu?
But owner Jody Hall is all about staying healthy, especially when it comes to her employees.
I'm doing what I feel is right as a good business owner.
Can I go for the pumpkin, please?
Hall helped write the law that says her employees and employees all over Seattle receive paid sick leave.
How do these look for you?
The law, in effect since September 1st, says businesses with 5 or more workers must provide a minimum of 5 paid sick days per year. Most workers would accrue 1 hour of sick leave for every 40 hours worked. The time off can be used for an employee's sickness, the care for a sick family member, or even as a safety measure for domestic violence victims.
I think we need to protect the people that have the least protection, and to me, paid sick leave does that.
Hall had a paid time off program in place in her Seattle and Bellevue stores, which satisfied the sick leave law before it was put in place. Now she says it's time for more employers to get on board.
There should be some baseline for what we provide to our employees, and I think paid sick leave is one of those things.
6, and what time?
At Green Lake Bar and Grill, owner John Schmidt is conflicted. He wants to keep his workers healthy, happy, and employed, but
to be mandated that I have to pay upwards of a week's pay for somebody is complicated for me.
And it's a complicated system Seattle has in place, too. Employers with 1 to 4 employees don't need to provide sick leave. Those with 5 to 49 employees have to provide 5 days of leave. 50 to 249, 7 days, and those with more than 250 workers, 9 days off per year. Even workers outside Seattle, such as delivery drivers who come into the city and spend at least 240 hours a year here, get sick leave too.
We're going to do everything we can to manage this. We're probably going to see some price increases on our menu.
Schmidt says he could end up paying $20,000 at each of his 3 Seattle restaurants in the next 18 months just for sick leave. Point being, he's not eager to open another restaurant here.
If given an opportunity to open a store in Seattle or outside of Seattle, if we were apples to apples in the location, I'd probably choose outside of Seattle.
Marilyn Watkins has studied the other places in the U.S. which have mandatory sick leave laws. The state of Connecticut, Washington, D.C., and San Francisco, which passed a sick leave law 6 years ago.
What the data shows very clearly is that actually San Francisco has held up very well.
Watkins is the policy director of Seattle's Economic Opportunity Institute and helped our city look into the paid sick leave issue. A survey in San Francisco showed 6 out of 7 employers reported no impact from paid sick leave on their bottom line.
Well, we found that a number of small business owners saw this as actually a good idea.
The same study also says workers in San Francisco only took 3 days of sick leave a year, not the 9 they were allowed. And instead of hurting business, employment in San Francisco grew, even in the depths of the Great Recession when employers offered paid sick leave.
I think we'll find that it's beneficial enough to businesses that we'll see this kind of thing spreading here in Washington State and across the country as well.
Can I get a cafe au lait?
Jody Hall says Seattle's paid sick leave is an added business expense, but she says keeping her workers healthy
There you go, enjoy your cupcakes.
and the public safe is worth the price.
To me, the benefits far outweigh any kind of adverse costs.
How's everything look, guys? Okay?
But John Schmidt says his margins are getting way out of balance in dealing with paid sick leave. He calls it yet another Seattle tax, the icing on the cake when it comes to the mounting costs of doing business here.
If you had to draw a line, I would say it definitely is working against the business community.